Big Sister, the story of Ruth Wayne and her problems as a woman, as well as a nurse, a wife, and a mother. Today's episode in just a moment after this message from our sponsor. Late afternoon at Dr. Carville's, the end of a day that followed a tense and difficult night. For it was just last night that Hope disappeared, leaving a note telling Nettie that she was going to have a baby, and that Nettie followed her, found her, and brought her home. Ruth is at her desk now when the door of the examining room opens and...
Anyone else in the waiting room, Ruth?
No, Reed.
What about Mr. Ellis?
Oh, he canceled his appointment.
Oh, good.
You tired?
Yeah, a bit. It's been quite a day.
Yes, it has. And
I thought we were getting...
Dr. Carville's office. Oh, yes, Mrs. Robinson.
Robinson? I'm away. I've left town. You don't know when I'll be back.
Well, I'm not sure, Mrs. Robinson. Will you hold on just a moment and I'll see? Thank you.
Now, look, Ruth, you heard me. I'm not here.
But you've got to talk to her, Reed. She's phoned at least 4 times today.
I'm sure she has, and she'll phone 40 more if she's given the least bit of encouragement.
But she says it's important. Something about a tonic you prescribed for us.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with her except that she doesn't know what to do with herself, and... Oh, all right. Give it to me. Hello? Oh, yes, Mrs. Robinson. I'm sorry I missed your calls, but I was over at the hospital. Now, what was that about my prescription? How many calories would it be? Why do you want to know that?
Why? Obviously, because she's on a reducing diet.
Why, no. I didn't realize you were on a diet. Frankly, it never occurred to me that it might be necessary. As a matter of fact, I thought you looked extremely well.
And I thought you wanted to get rid of her. Or has the charm become a reflex?
Will you be quiet? Now, let's see. Suppose you continue with both your diet and the tonic for about a week, Mrs. Robinson. And then if there's any change in your weight, we can get into the whole thing. Not at all. It was very nice to have talked to you. Goodbye.
Oh, that was mean, Reed. Why didn't you let her come over?
Mean? So help me, Ruth, if you ever do anything like that to me again.
I'm sorry, Reed. It's probably the malicious streak in my nature. Or possibly muted admiration. I just enjoy seeing the famous Bannister charm in action.
Well, do it again, and Dr. Carville can start looking around for a new assistant. Well, wouldn't that make any difference to you?
Oh, it certainly would. And I'll be good, I promise. Especially since I was about to ask you to do me a favor.
Aha! Well, the answer is no.
But I promised to be good, didn't I? It's about Hope.
Oh. What about her?
Dr. Carville did tell you that she was going to have a baby, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Rather sudden, though, wasn't it?
Well, why do you say that?
Well, it did come at a rather opportune time, didn't it? And it certainly made it a lot easier for them to get together again.
Oh, that's not fair, Reed. We don't know how long she knew, and, well, with everything else that's happened, and being separated from Nettie, she didn't have very much chance to tell anyone.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm sorry, Ruth. What would you like me to do?
Would you see her? She should have a preliminary checkup, and then perhaps you could recommend someone to take care of her.
Well, of course. I'll be glad to.
Oh, thanks, Reed. I'll phone her and tell her. Tomorrow, all right?
Say 10 o'clock? I think I'll suggest that she see Moffat. He's very good.
Hope? This is Ruth. How are you, dear? Oh, that's good. I've been wanting to talk to you all day, but we've been quite busy here, and I didn't have a chance. Hope, I just spoke to Reed, and he'll be very happy to see you. No, it's no trouble, dear. He's very glad to do it. That's not true, Hope. You mustn't feel that way about it. And it's really quite important for you and for the child. Do you want me to put Reed on? He can... Fine. How about 10 o'clock? Good. We'll be expecting you. Goodbye.
All right?
Yes. She didn't want to come at first. She said it was an imposition, but she'll be here.
Good. What do you think about Moffat if there's nothing unusual about the case?
I think he's very good, too. And... Oh, dear. Dr. Carville's office. Oh, hello, Mrs. Robinson.
No. Remember, Ruth, you promised.
I'm awfully sorry, Mrs. Robinson, but he's not here. He left after he spoke to you. Yes, he is a wonderful man and a very fine doctor. Is there anything I can do? Oh, yes, he said to continue with both your diet and the tonic, and to get in touch with him next week. Not at all. Goodbye.
Ruth, you're a diplomat, and I thank you.
Part of my job. And besides, I do think you're a fine doctor.
What about the rest of it? The wonderful man part of it?
Oh, exaggeration in the line of duty.
I see. Interesting. What an eye-opener this whole thing has been.
What thing?
Working here with you and Dr. Carville, I'll confess that there have been many times when my soul cried out for the cloistered halls of the medical center, and still, how did John react to all of this, Ruth?
What do you mean, Reed?
Well, the different kinds of cases that make up your day and your nights. To the Mrs. Robinsons on the one hand, and... I'm sorry, Ruth. That was a stupid thing to do.
Mentioning John's name, you mean? Don't you think he's on my mind a good deal anyway? Whether we talk about him or not?
Is he, Ruth?
I'm afraid so.
No word from him, I suppose.
No, not since I spoke to him the other day. He said he'd write, get in touch with me, but... Oh, Reed, I'm afraid he's in a bad way. That he's given up the analysis and he's just drifting again, and... Well, there's just nothing I can do about it.
The story of Big Sister will continue after this message from our sponsor. And now let's go to New York. Coming up the stairs to John's apartment, Diane Carville notices that the door is slightly ajar. Pushing it open, she calls...
Hello? John?
You're a little previous, Diane.
What? Steele, what are you doing here?
The same thing you are.
How did you get in?
The superintendent let me in. Any objections?
Yes, and I think John will have, too. Just what right have you got to come in barging in here like this? Just make yourself at home in someone else's apartment?
And you're a stranger around here, hmm?
No, but at least I'm a friend.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it that.
And just what do you mean by that?
What's the difference?
That's right. I don't even know why I bother to discuss it with you. Where is he?
Don't you know?
Well, I wouldn't ask you if I did. Oh, he probably hasn't come home from work yet.
That great job of his, wrestling crates on and off a truck. Well, that really takes talent.
You certainly have got a lot of things to disapprove of, haven't you? Me, John's job. Anything else?
That'll do for a start. You were out with him last night, weren't you?
How did you know?
When I'm interested in someone or something, I make it my business to know. Where'd you go?
Don't tell me you don't know that. Or what time he took me back to the hospital, if he did. Or what he said to me when he kissed me goodnight. Oh, my, your boys are falling down on their jobs, aren't they?
All right, cut it, Diane. Stop writing.
Why should I?
Because I said so. Because when I ask a question, I want an answer.
I'd like to remind you of something, Mr. Steele. I am not on your payroll. You're nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. That's why I'm not interested enough to become annoyed.
What about him, the doc? What's he to you?
You've probably got your own ideas about that, haven't you?
I have. I wouldn't want to put them into words because I don't know the polite ones for it.
I don't know why that should stop you.
Neither do I. Except... Listen, why don't you get wise to yourself? Or has he got you so tied in knots that you're not even wise to him yet?
Probably. But I'll be glad to listen while you explain the facts of life to me. And the facts about John Wayne.
Facts? You don't have to be with him more than 5 minutes to know what makes him tick. He's a guy on a bicycle. I seen a dozen like him in the ring. They got the body and the head. They look like $1 million in training, like 2 cents when they're face to face with the real thing. One jab to the face, one thing that doesn't go the way they think it should, and they're through. And why? Because they got nothing inside.
So that's John, huh? Very interesting. Why don't you tell him that?
Oh, you think I'm afraid to? I will.
All right. Here's your chance.
What? What do you... Hey, Doc. How long have you been standing there?
Framed in the open doorway, John does not answer. He continues to stand there, his jaw muscles tight, his fists clenched and pressed close to his side. Then slowly he walks into the room. And now a message from our sponsor. Join us tomorrow on Big Sister. John Scott speaking. Big Sister is a modern drama production.